Namaste friends. Of late, I have seen quite a few cases wherein the native is actually struggling to repay a loan. So, in KP or even in Vedic astrology, the sixth house represents loans, and 12th house will represent the ability to repay the loan. So as per KP, we focus on the sixth cuspal sublord when we have to analyze whether a loan is promised or not. And 12th cuspal sublord will tell us whether the native can repay or not. So basically it's a promise to repay. So my personal opinion would be, even before you analyze whether or not a loan is promised for the native, you can start with the analysis of 12th CSL to see whether or not the native can repay. If and only if the native is able to repay, you look for 6th CSL to see if there is a promise, and then you can conclude. Right? So if 12th cuspal sublord is promising repayment of loan, you also need to keep in mind if 12th CSL is Mars. Assuming that Mars is promising repayment, it will still create problems when it comes to repayment. All right, so this is, I have seen this in a number of cases where the native probably has got the loan very easily but is unable to repay the loan. Even if it is, let's say it is Jupiter, fair enough, Jupiter is promising repayment, maybe everything will go on smoothly. But if 12th CSL is Mars, it is promising repayment. Even in that case, there will be hurdles that the native will come across. So check, start with the 12th CSL to see if it is Mars. If it is Mars, the native has to exercise caution. Okay, Mars represents debt as such. So the first condition is, see if 12th CSL is Mars, and if this is some other planet, let's assume this is Jupiter or Venus. Okay, you will also have to check if Mars is in the 12th house. I'm not talking about the ownership here, I'm talking about placement. If Mars is in the 12th house, the native will again go through situations where he or she is unable to pay back on time, even if Mars is promising it, right? So this is the first point. The second point is, you should also try and focus on two different houses. If there is a planet to house negative aspect either on the 6th house or on the 12th house. Now you may be inquisitive to know, why am I focusing on the 6th house? Because 6th house is for promise of loan. What has 6th house got to do with repayment? Right, the 12th house is for repayment. So if there is a negative hit on the 12th house, yes, the native will probably go through a lot of stress. But please keep in mind, 6th house also plays a very important role, not just in terms of getting a loan, even in terms of repayment, because 6th house represents our cash flow transactions basically. So if 6th house has a negative hit, the native will definitely face hurdles in terms of repayment of loan. So just to conclude, whenever you are whenever the client is looking for a loan, be it any kind of a loan, it could be for property, it could be for it could be a personal loan, any kind of a loan, you can start with the 12th CSL to make sure that it is not Mars, or even if it is some other planet, you check for the promise first. If it is Mars, you exercise a little more caution, and then you can analyze the 6th CSL to see whether or not the loan is promised. And not only that, you will also check for any kind of a negative hit on the 6th house as well as on the 12th house. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.